Hello, Marta and Olivia. Welcome and thank you for coming to this interview.
Hello. Hello.
If it's okay with you, I'm going to start asking you some questions. Well, the first question I wanted to ask you was what is the field of your bachelor thesis?
Well, our bachelor thesis is focused on the development of a new medical device. I'm going to focus more on the prototype development. And well, Olivia, you can explain.
Yeah, I'm going to focus more on the regulation and the purchasing dynamics of the hospital. So it's more about business and regulation, basically.
Also, it's the same for both of you. Could you explain maybe a little bit about the device or the need?
So in the first trimester, we did a subject called medical devices, the introduction to medical devices and its design, where we had to find clinical need and then try to design or improve a medical device in order to cover this medical need.
So the device is a kind of it's a postpartum hemorrhage detector. It has a shape of a pad, a sanitary pad, and it has like a system of parcels which allow the healthcare personnel to see how the amount of blood that the patient is losing is progressing during the time of in the postpartum, so that blood loss can be objectively quantified, which is something that nowadays cannot be done. They now use a visual estimation system, which doesn't really let them know how much blood the patient has lost.
Okay, very interesting. Why did you choose this? Why did you find this topic appealing?
Well, during the development of the subject, we were really interested on the topic. We also found that there's quite not a lot of research on this topic, on gynecology in general. So we decided it would be something very new and very needed. So we were really interested on it.
And when it comes to my thesis, I think it's important to establish like a protocol in order to try to sell a new medical device into the public health system and the private one here in Spain, because it's not really well explained. You can't really find a lot of information. And I think it would be interesting in order to know how to regulate and how to do the patentability analysis of the new medical device with the objective of selling this medical device in this market.
Okay, and what would you say are your limitations, or what do you expect to find as your limitations while working on the thesis?
When it comes to my limitations, I think that so I'm going to do in the methodology I'm going to do two parts. First, a literature review on the official documentation that you can find online, or the official manuals that you can have online, and then second, like interviews to specialists and in hospitals and also in medical technology companies to see how they regulate their devices in order to sell them. So I think that the first limitation that I'm finding is in the literature research, because there's not a lot of documentations. There's documentation when it comes to existing medical devices. So if you want to sell needles, there's like a manual on how to reach the public health system when it comes to needles. But if it's a new medical device, there's not a lot of information. So I think this is the first limitation. But this is good also that I'm going to do the interviews in order to find more information about this.
So in my case, I think the limitations are basically time and resources, because it's true that the development of a medical device usually takes lots of years to develop. And in my case, I have to end it by June. So it's true that the time is very limited. So I'm going to do as far as I'm going to go as far as I can, but I don't know if I will actually be able to develop the whole prototype. Also resources, because I have to test the different materials and different different situations in which the patient will be during the use of the device. So it's also hard to find all those materials and all those and basically a hospital that allows me to go there and do as many tests as I want to, because they also have their own work. So also resources will be limiting.
And would you say, is there a future? Do you see actually after finishing your degree, maybe both of you together, you could bring this device actually to the market?
I think we are working towards it because we're both like kind of improving what we already did in the first trimester. I think it would be nice to present this project to some contests, but I think everything is still really
in early stages. I think there's a really obvious clinical need. It's something new that they do not have and it's needed. So I think for this part, it would be possible to end up developing it. But it's true that, as Olivia says, it's in early stages, so it needs further work, of course.
Thank you very much. It was great getting to know about your thesis, and I hope you have a great outcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.